Hello friends, welcome back. Hope all are well and safe. Today I brought you the most significant questions asked in interviews about SQL. So for what are you guys waiting for then? Let's start our today's video. Let's watch out top 10 important SQL questions asked in interviews. So the first question asks you, what is the use of cache in sequence? I believe all of us know the syntax of sequence in SQL. It involves many attributes like starts by, increment by, cache, cycle and order. Cache is one of them. And it is a numerical value that specifies the number of integers to store in memory. If it doesn't provide any cache value, it defaults it to 20. If you provide no cache, that means the value of the particular sequence are not pre-allocated. This basically tells us how many values of the sequence the database pre-allocates and keeps in memory for faster access. I believe you have understood what is the use of cache in sequence. Let's now move on to the second question. So the next question asks us about views and its types. Views are one of the most important topics asked in recent interviews, and these are used to reduce complexity in programs, as we all know. Moreover, used whenever we are writing challenging queries involving one or more tables. So when they ask you what are views and its types, just describe about a view and then the types of views. There is no need of getting into detail. If they want, they will ask you the each and every view and they usage. So here I've already described that view is nothing but like a table can have data with a combination of two or more tables, and then syntax is just that simple: create view name as, and then you need to describe your query, and the result set will be stored in the view underscore name, and whenever you query select start from view underscore name, you will get the result, hiding all the complexity behind. So the types includes simple view, complex view, read-only view with check option, and force view. So people just describe about simple view and complex view, but we do have other three views called read-only view and with check option and force view, which are very, very important. So I believe you have understood the importance of views and its types. If they ask you what is a complex view, give an example about it, or how we'll use a simple view in our programs, then you can go ahead and explain. So now let's go to the third question, which is all about indexes and types of indexes available in Oracle. So indexes are the ones used for data retrieval from the database more quickly. Indexes are not visible but used to speed up the queries. However, it slows down the data input while inserting and updating statements. So whenever we are using DML statements like insert and update, it just slows down the data input. And the syntax is just that simple: create index name on table of column 1 comma column 2, and the types include clustered, non-clustered and unique indexes. So whenever we try to place indexes on a table and try to update it or insert it, it just slows down the data input. So let's go to the question number 4 now. This is all about joins and its types. This is also one of the most important questions asked in recent interviews. Joins are used when one or more tables are combined to retrieve the data. There should be at least a common field from both the tables to use join. So types of joins include inner join, outer join, self join and cross join. Inner join is also referred as equi-join and non-equi-join. Equi-join is when we use equal to symbol, and non-equi-join is when we use other operators. Outer join include left outer, right outer and full outer join, which is very, very important while dealing with SQL queries. So when we are combining one or more tables to retrieve the data. Now let's go to other question which asks us about the check constraint and how can we use it on a column. So this is one of the most important constraints used in SQL, which helps us to specify some kind of condition while entering values into a table. For example, if you want to create a table name called student who can vote, and then the constraint should be on column called age, where it should check whether we are entering values greater than or equal to 18, and the query includes create table name of having three column names: name, roll number and age. And when we are defining age, we need to specify the check constraint as age greater than or equal to 18. So whenever we enter the age, it should be greater than or equal to 18. So let's go to the other question. what is the use of CTE in SQL, which is very 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 important when dealing with interviews nowadays, because CTE is a temporary table. It is a temporary named result set that can be referenced with the select statement, delete statement, insert, update. Should always contain a select statement after CTE, otherwise it will raise an error. And the query include with CTE as select start from employees with department equal to 20. So select start from employees with department number equal to 20. The result set will be in a temporary table called CTE, and after that you need to include the select statement, select start from CTE, which displays all the employees with the department number 20. When you doesn't include it, it will raise an error, because the syntax that says that when CTE is used, you need to include select statement after that. And the difference between CTEs and views is both are used for extraction of data. However, view is an object, whereas CTE exists for the duration of that query. So when the query completes, the duration of that CTE also is done. So now the seventh question asks us, what are who columns referred to in Oracle? So who columns are used to track the information updated or inserted by the users. There are 5 columns in the database which are referred to who columns, and the columns include last update date, last updated by, creation date, created by, and last update login. And the question 8 includes what is the usage of ROWNUM clause in Oracle. So ROWNUM clause in Oracle is used to limit the number of rows returned by the query, also referred as a ranking function that assigns a sequential rank number to each new record in the result set. For example, if we want to print the first 3 highest salaries of employees without using max function or a subquery, we can write the query as select employee name, salary from employees, where ROWNUM is less than or equal to 3, ordered by salary DESC. So this gives us the first 3 highest salaries of all the employees included in the table called employees. And here we didn't even use the max function or the subquery. So ROWNUM is very very important clause in Oracle. It is basically used to limit the number of rows returned by the query. So let's go to the other question now. What is the difference between case and decode? I've optimized this into a form of a table because it is easy to compare now. Case is an Oracle statement and not a function, whereas decode is an Oracle system function. Case can work with other operators but equal to. On the other hand, decode can only work with equal to operator. Case can be used in SQL as well as PL SQL. A decode can only be used in SQL. This is very very important difference between these two. And case can be used in procedural calls as well as subqueries. On the other hand, decode cannot be used in neither of that. So let's go to the last question of our today's video. What are NVL, NVL2, NULLIF and COALESEC? So these are all the single row functions which can deal with any kind of data type and pertaining to use of all the null values. So NVL accepts 2 expressions, expression 1 and expression 2, converts the null value to an actual value. Here expression 1 is the value which may contain a null value, whereas expression 2 is the actual value of the target value for converting the null value. Let's see that with an example. Select NVL of A and B as some literals as result from dual. The output will obviously be A because the first expression itself is not null value. And here in the second example we have the first expression itself as null and the second expression is B, therefore it will obviously return B as an output. So I believe you have understood the usage of NVL function in SQL. It basically accepts 2 parameters, expression 1 and expression 2. So whenever you are dealing with null values in a column, you can go ahead and use NVL function. And expression 1 here tells you that if you want to change that null value to a target value which is expression 2, you can go ahead and use NVL. So now let's check it out. Check NVL2, NULLIF and COALESEC. So here NVL2 accepts 3 parameters, expression 1, expression 2 and expression 3. Expression 2, it will return when the expression 1 is not null, and when the expression 1 is null, then it will return expression 3. So select NVL2 of A, B, C as literals as result from dual. The output will obviously be B because the first expression is not null in this case. And second example includes the first expression as null, therefore it returns expression 3 as a result, that is C in our case. So this is the basic difference between NVL and NVL2. Now let's check out NULLIF function. The NULLIF function compares two expressions. If they are equal, the function returns null. If they are not equal, the function returns the first expression. Let's check this out with an example. Select NULLIF of A as literals as result from dual. So the output will obviously be null because the first two the expression 1 and expression 2 are equal. In the second case, expression 1 and expression 2 are not equal. Therefore the output will be expression 1, that is A in our case. So this is the usage of NULLIF. So people get confused and go into a baffled state whenever they are asked about null functions and NVL functions. Null functions include is null and is not null, and NVL functions include NVL, NVL2 and COALESEC. So please don't confuse yourselves. Now let's look into COALESEC 1. COALESEC examines the first expression. If the first expression is not null, it returns the expression. Otherwise, it does the COALESEC of the remaining expressions. So let's look into it with an example. Select COALESEC of A, B, C as result from dual. The output will obviously be A because that is the first not null expression. The second example tells us the first expression is null and B and C. So B is a output because B is obviously the first not null expression, and third example says C because it is the first not null expression. As we can see, expression 1 and expression 2 are null. So this is the basic usage of COALESEC. I believe that you have understood each and every concept in this video. COALESEC is hard to pronounce, but it's just that simple in its usage because it just helps us to find the first not null expression in all provided So I think you have understood each and every concept that we have discussed in this video, and I'll try to make videos on coding part using SQL Developer with all the examples that we have discussed in today's video, so that you can understand everything in a practical way. And if you're a person preparing for the interview and having interview in the coming days, please go through all these topics. These are very important topics that are being asked in all the SQL interviews. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the other videos. Until then, bye bye.